Hi everyone, welcome back to another sketchbook tour. This one actually came up very quickly because it only took me a couple of months to finish. It has like 80 pages in it, which sounds like a lot, but I'll tell you why it went so quickly actually. But first of all, it is a sketchbook by Odd Orange. I'd seen their ads on Instagram, so I was curious to buy one. I really liked the yellow binding. That's what attracted me to it. I think it's A5, which is always a really good size for me. I think kind of every time I get a sketchbook, I'll get A5 or A4, and then whenever I'm working in it, I'm like, oh, I actually prefer the other size. But I think as of now, I'm fairly sure that A5 is like my preferred format. So yeah, this sticker is by Sophie McPike. I got it with an order that I got from her shop once. And then these Pokemon stickers are by me. And I have like a couple of others as well, and they're all in my Ko-fi shop. So if you are interested in having a look at them, I'll leave the link in the description. So let's begin. I started this back at the beginning of December, so I've only really had it for 2.5 months. Pretty much. These were also part of the order that I got in Sophie McPike's order, so I thought they were really, really cute. I really didn't want to throw them away, so I just stuck them in. Pikachu, and then there are a couple of Persona 4 Animal Crossing crossover characters that I have also made into stickers, which are also in my Ko-fi shop. So again, they're all there. I'll leave the link in the description, and I also do commissions if you're interested. And yeah, I would, if you enjoy my work and you would like to continue to see it, I would really encourage and ask you to consider supporting me and my practice. This year already has been a bit of a big one because, like I said in one of my previous videos, I've actually gone full freelance now, and that was effective right at the beginning of this year. Oh, actually at a little bit at the end of last year as well. Yeah, when I started this sketchbook, I was really just kind of in that mindset of what am I doing? Why have I done this? Was this a good idea? I was really second guessing myself, so I was a little bit at a loss, but it's fine. That's bound to happen, and it might not work out, but at least I have given it a go. I am giving it a go. And I would really hope that it does work out, because this has been a dream since I've been really, really little. I've always wanted to be an artist and to make a living from my art, so now's as good a time as any. So this is where one of the reasons I think I went through the sketchbook so quickly is because Sophie McPike hosts something called Scribble Brigade on her Patreon, and then sometimes she does a live one for the public on YouTube. I tend to zoom through pages when I'm working along with it, so I think in the future I'm going to actually have a separate sketchbook to my main one, just so that I'm not speeding through pages. I kind of feel almost like it was cheating a little bit, so I know that for now, but it's really enjoyable time. Here we were doing copies of Studio Ghibli screenshots, but I think it was all within 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less. But I really like how this one turned out. It looks really sunny, and I was using watercolor here, which looks really nice, but it was a terrible idea because obviously by the time I had finished this last kind of scene, it was all wet and I couldn't turn the page, so that wasn't great. I really like how this one turned out. What's good about these exercises is that they really force me to be loose, which I'm not normally. So yeah, it's very useful. This was the last kind of scene that we drew from the previous kind of session. And here is my character Rune, who you may or may not know depending on how long you've been following me. Just a little kind of scene from school. I'm really hoping to actually start a comic of my characters this year. I don't know how that's gonna go because I'm still very much in a planning session or stage. I could be stuck in the planning stage for forever because I'd be just too scared to actually start. So anyway, back to the sketchbook. So these were the drawings for the stickers that I made for my niece at her Christmas, as her Christmas present. I really like how they turned out actually, and she was very happy with them. They went down very well. more Scribble Brigade. I'd learned my lesson this time. I didn't use watercolour anymore, so I was using my Tombow markers, and yeah, that worked much better. I really like how these ones came out. I just really like the greens and the blue shadows. I love blue shadows in things, so that was really pleasant to work with. And I love how these two look as well. Not these ones so much. Like I never draw buildings purely because I really don't like drawing them, so whenever I do, they always look really wonky, but I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst it could have been, I guess. I always really like using much brighter colours like in here. This is just a little self-portrait, kind of. My face turned out really weird, so I just kind of blanked it out and left it at that. Here I was just playing through a copy of my Pokemon Fire Red, and I was using Pokemon that I don't typically use, and yeah, it wasn't a great team. I still didn't finish it, but they were cute. I really love Parasect. I love it as a Pokemon anyway. I drew her as a little human as well. She came out very cute. And then I have Lolly, the Clefable, as a human as well. And here as well, I remember I was listening to an audiobook of The Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. That's what I was listening to anyway, and I was just kind of like, God, I used to draw horses so much when I was little. I wonder if any of that like information is still kind of tucked away in my brain somewhere. So I just drew these from memory, and considering I haven't drawn horses pretty much since I was a child, or teenager, whatever, I'm pretty impressed with myself. They came out pretty good. Oh, sorry, that's not even true. I drew the unicorns a few pages ago. Oh, I mean, like, you know what I mean. It was still a long time. These are portraits that I referenced from Pinterest. I really would like to try and do a few more kind of like portrait paintings this year. I used to call myself a portrait artist. I mean, I am a portrait artist. That used to be my primary speciality. Now I'm kind of leaning a lot more into kind of like the illustration and the cartoony kind of stuff. I do still accept portrait commissions. I just don't get them that regularly now. But I really want to try and do some more kind of like creative portraits. I never really kind of did them. So I just wanted to practice a little bit and try different face shapes and, you know, ethnicities and stuff. So just, you know, get back into the habit of drawing them. Oh, I hate this spread. I'm going to skip over it very quickly. This was just like a drawing from a photo that I took when we were in Japan last year. And it looks so muddy and gross and I hate it. I hate this drawing of Rune because she doesn't look like herself. Her face is really weird. Her proportions are really weird. So yeah, I hate this spread. This is, you might recognize it. I made a short out of it. I did this drawing specifically so I could practice like filming a reel or kind of like a, you know, a long video. And I think it was around this time as well that I got the acrylic markers from ArtX that I was asked to review. So this was the page that I did specifically for my Instagram reel, and then this was the full illustration that I did for my YouTube channel, which I still really love. I think it came out so well. Obviously, you know, like I was mentioning in the video, there are certain things like her hair color which aren't quite accurate, but it doesn't matter. It's such a dreamy kind of like piece, and I really love how it came out. This was again another Scribble Brigade with Sophie McPike, so a lot of it was just life drawing. I think a lot of them were like 1 minute poses. I think there might be some 5-minute poses as well. But you can kind of see why I went through the sketchbook so fast, just because like this took up so many pages. I mean, like I'm not annoyed about it or anything, but it just made me really feel like I was kind of cheating my way through the sketchbook a little bit. I think this was all one session. It was really good. Okay, so here then I was just messing around. I hadn't used my inks for a very long time, so I got a couple of them out. It's this green, I really love it. I have ordered myself some like empty fountain pens with the kind of the cartridge converters that you can use to suck up the ink. So I'm definitely going to put this green ink into one of them. I think that's going to be so fun to use. And another Scribble Brigade. And this time I was using the Art-X markers to just add a little bit of variety between the figures colour wise, so it wasn't always the same thing. I really like how this one turned out, and her. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a great little community as well. Here I was kind of in one of those moods where I was like, you're supposed to be a portrait artist, but you don't even know how to draw faces properly. You don't even know how to draw face angles. So like I was just practicing a little bit, and like some worked better than others. But yeah, it's definitely something that I intend to be practicing a lot this year. This was just, again, didn't really know what to draw. So I find now that I tend to kind of just doodle weird flowers or bits and pieces like that now. So this was done with a glass dip pen. I actually have it right here. This kind of a one. And that's it. It's really fun to use. I like the consistency of like the line width. And a lot of this is just kind of nonsense, but there are bits and pieces that I do really like. I love this little kind of branch with the ladybird on it. Or I like this little patch of pansies. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a little bit all over the place, and I kind of wish that I hadn't done this red ink or this kind of crayon. I liked the page how it looked before I did those, so I kind of wish I hadn't, but oh well. So this is my character Reese. This is another one of the characters along with Rune, and yeah, just felt like drawing a portrait at like a kind of an angle that I don't normally do, and I was using again the Art-X markers. They kind of went a little bit funny around his mouth, so the skin colour looks a little bit different, but it doesn't really matter. I still really like how it came out, and I think the spread looks well as kind of like a singular unit kind of a thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm still really happy with how this spread turned out. This is supposed to be a portrait of the singer Aurora. I was using a reference that I found on Instagram, and it didn't really turn out very good. There was one point, like about halfway through the sketch, where I was like, this is going so well, it really looks like her. And then I don't know what I did, but now it just doesn't really look like her, so kind of don't really care about that page. This is another character of mine called Sven, and again I had specifically planned just this page to practice filming a reel, and he's really wonky on the page, but it doesn't matter. So this is just some planning for that comic that I was talking about. I'm very bad at just like staying in planning stages of things and never actually getting around to doing the final piece. Yeah, I have no idea how to even begin doing a comic. I know you just kind of have to just do it. So I'm just gonna have to do it at some point. Oh yeah, I found an app as well on my iPad, which apparently you can also download on your phone, called Head Model Studio. And I think it's brilliant, because you just get like a little 3D model of like a head that you can like turn to different angles, and there's like a spotlight kind of option that you can move around so you can get different lighting effects on the face. You have different levels of detail on the faces as well. There is a paid option for it as well, which I did get for like the lifetime access or whatever, and there's like a lot more to it. So for someone like me, you know, who, like I was saying, initially did a lot of work on portraits, it is brilliant because that's exactly the kind of thing that I like to practice. It might not work for everyone, and the basic option might work for some people, but I would really recommend having a look at it anyway, because at the very least you are able to have like a basic outline and structure of the head, and you can still turn it to whatever angle you want, so that's still really useful. And you can get timed sessions as well on it, so I thought it was great. Oh yeah, and then you have like different kind of like models as well, of like eyes or ears or the mouth or whatever, the different like features of the face, and they have more like high quality models that you can also just like focus on and then like also spin them around. So I was just doodling some eyes here as well. I think it's great. I think it's great. Okay, so from this point on to the end of the sketchbook, it's pretty much all going to be the same kind of thing. I remembered that I had taken some photos of my parents' cat like last summer, and I had never drawn him, And just one morning I was kind of like, oh, I better just draw him so I can delete the photos from my phone and at least I'll be done with it. So you can kind of see I started with kind of like relatively realistic-ish proportions. And then like the more I went down the page, the more ridiculous and silly he got. And then eventually like he just became such a caricature of himself. He's not even this fat, like. I just really, really loved how it turned out and I just could not stop drawing him then. So his name is Dudley. We adopted him I think about like 6 or 7 years ago. And he lives with my parents now. He's such a sweet cat. Like he just does not care at all if there are any other like cats or animals like in the area. He's so chill, he's really friendly, he's really chatty. I love him to bits. And I just really loved this kind of cartoon version of him. And yeah, and then I started drawing my mum's dog, who is probably on the way out this year, maybe, unfortunately, but I kind of thought like if that's going to be the case, I wanted to have some kind of a record of her in my sketchbooks because I never really draw her and she's a really cute little dog, so I thought I could commemorate her a little bit. This would be, I think this is a really cute way to remember her because she's a cute dog and like her dynamic with Dudley is really fun. So yeah, like I say, the rest of the sketchbook is just these animals. But and I'm really pleased as well because it's kind of like I never really had a way of drawing, like my own way of drawing animals, like cats and dogs. And I know everybody draws cats, which is great because they're cute and I love cats. I think I prefer cats to dogs really, but I just really wanted to have like my own way of drawing them. And I kind of feel like I have found something now. I actually quite like this spread just because of how colourful it is. I really like this drawing. It was also referenced from a photo I took in Japan last year. We were in Hiroshima and we went to Shukeien Park. Yeah, there was just this really sweet little couple who were feeding all of the koi fish and I thought it was just like a really nice scene. I found that photo randomly on my phone and I was like, oh, I should draw it. So yeah, I really like how that turned out. I don't like this spread though. I think as well at this point I was kind of like, oh, if ever I do a sketchbook tour, which I knew I would, I was kind of like, oh, it's going to get so boring because it's just going to be the same thing until the end. I should break it up a little bit. So I kind of started drawing this, which was also when we were in Japan and we were on the train and moving through the countryside. But I think as well I was also like, I'm really enjoying drawing these animals. It's my sketchbook. You know, if I want to keep drawing them, I will. So I did. I did like a really, really cute little Animal Crossing style comic of each of them, which are on my Instagram if you want to see. Did this little doodle for Valentine's Day recently as well. All of these guys as well are, minus Harriet, are past pets that we've had. So they're all long gone. I was kind of like, oh, I'd be interested to see how I would like draw them in this kind of like funny cartoony style that I have now. And I'm still kind of really enjoying using those acrylic markers. So they've really nice colours in them actually. Oh yeah, and then my sister wanted me to do like a little comic about Harriet, so I did that for her. And that's it. That's the end of the sketchbook. Goes by very fast. This is obviously the illustration that I put up recently as well. Again, it's of Dudley and that's it. I've already started my next sketchbook actually. That's a nice long one. It's got like thin sheets and a lot of pages, so hopefully when I finish that, hopefully it'll take me longer to finish anyway, and that there might be more variety in it. That's all. So thank you very much for watching. I hope it was still kind of interesting. I know it was one of my more simpler sketchbooks. I still enjoyed using it. I probably wouldn't get another one again just because the paper is so nice. I think I was still a little bit precious with it, which is obviously not ideal. The next sketchbook that I have now is because the paper is so thin, you can kind of see through it. And I think that's kind of training my brain to not be so kind of like precious about it. So that's good. I want that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I don't know if the next sketchbook will be as quick, but we'll see. But anyway, so that's all. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!